Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon.
Xin hân hoan chào
All of
đón.
us who are gathered here, we love denim and are interested in the growth and development of this industry. Our industry is getting more and more conscious about the sustainability and is keen to reduce its negative footprint on the planet. It is in this context that we have all gathered here today for a panel discussion, Mission Blue, Create Denim for the Future with Care for People and the Planet.
Kính thưa quý vị khách quý, tất cả chúng ta cùng tề tụ về đây trong sự kiện ngày hôm nay đều thể hiện tình yêu của mình đối với denim và có sự quan tâm sâu sắc với sự phát triển của ngành công nghiệp này. Ngành công nghiệp denim của chúng ta đang phát triển một cách bền vững và có xu hướng tinh giảm những dấu vết tiêu cực trên toàn cầu. Trong phạm vi chương trình hôm nay, chúng ta cùng nhau thảo luận về chủ đề nhiệm vụ xanh, tạo denim cho tương lai với sự quan tâm đến nhân loại và toàn cầu.
The idea behind this panel discussion was to find out how some of the most important global leaders in the denim supply chain are turning to sustainability in a big way. Global brand G-Star is taking important steps in this direction with important supply chain partners, Cytex, and supported by Blue Sign. G-Star is committed to eliminate industrial releases of hazardous chemicals into the environment and has set the target to reach zero discharge of hazardous chemicals from all products and production processes by 2020. It is in this context it becomes very important for all industry to understand the steps that are being taken in this direction.
Kính thưa quý vị, ý tưởng của cuộc hội thảo ngày hôm nay nhằm tìm ra những nhà tiên phong trong chuỗi cung cấp denim quan tâm sự bền vững như thế nào. Thương hiệu toàn cầu G-Star đang thực hiện những bước quan trọng trong khuynh hướng này với đối tác quan trọng Cytex và được sự hỗ trợ từ Blue Sign. G-Star cam kết loại bỏ những chất độc hại thải ra từ ngành công nghiệp này vào môi trường và đặt mục tiêu mức độ xả thải chất độc hại phải về mức zero, và mức này được áp dụng cho toàn bộ sản phẩm và quy trình sản xuất trước năm 2020. Trong bối cảnh này, điều ấy trở nên vô cùng quan trọng trong tất cả các ngành công nghiệp để hiểu được những bước chúng ta đang thực hiện.
This session will be moderated by a veteran in the denim supply chain industry, Mr. Bill Watson, the Managing Director of Coats, Vietnam, Cambodia and Korea Cluster.
Và buổi thảo luận hôm nay sẽ được chủ trì bởi một nhân vật dày dặn kinh nghiệm, ông Bill Watson, Giám đốc điều hành Coats Việt Nam, Cambodia và Hàn Quốc.
Mr. Bill is the Managing Director of Coats Phong Phu and has been employed by Coats Group PLC, a UK-based FTSE 250 company, since November 2010. He received a degree in chemistry at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, USA, and prior to his joining Coats, he spent 24 years working in the textile and chemical industry with Milliken and Company USA.
Ông Bill hiện là giám đốc điều hành Coats Phong Phú. Ông gia nhập tập đoàn Coats có trụ sở tại Anh Quốc và thuộc trong 250 công ty hàng đầu vào năm 2010. Ông đã tốt nghiệp chuyên ngành hóa học Đại học Bắc Carolina, Hoa Kỳ. Trước khi gia nhập Coats, ông có 24 năm làm việc trong ngành công nghiệp sợi và hóa chất ở công ty Milliken Co, Hoa Kỳ.
There he specialized in plastics and plastic application areas, working extensively in the commercial arena in the US and abroad. He has extensive experience managing diverse multicultural teams and specific expertise in change management, building corporate culture, empowerment and teamwork, manufacturing productivity and compliance. In the past 23 years, he has worked and lived throughout Asia and has lived in Ho Chi Minh City for 7 years.
Ở đây, ông phụ trách chuyên về plastic và những ứng dụng của plastic và phạm vi hoạt động ở trong nước và nước ngoài. Ông có kinh nghiệm quản lý rộng ở nhiều lĩnh vực khác nhau, đội ngũ nhân viên đa sắc tộc, đặc biệt là chuyên gia trong việc thay đổi cách quản lý, xây dựng hợp tác giữa các nền văn hóa, trao quyền và làm việc đội nhóm, sản xuất hiệu quả, tuân thủ. Trong 23 năm sinh sống và làm việc ở châu Á, ông đã có thời gian sống ở thành phố Hồ Chí Minh 7 năm.
Bill has a strongly held belief that collaboration among companies with similar values can help everyone raise their game, whether it is compliance, health and safety, productivity, management skills, development and others.
Ông Bill có niềm tin chắc chắn rằng sự phối hợp giữa doanh nghiệp và những giá trị cốt lõi này sẽ giúp cho mọi người đạt được mục tiêu, dù đó là sự tuân thủ về chính sách sức khỏe an toàn, năng suất, kỹ năng phát triển quản lý hoặc những mục tiêu khác.
I would now like to invite Mr. Bill Watson to moderate the session and to introduce our esteemed panelists.
Xin trân trọng kính mời ông Bill lên chủ trì hội thảo và giới thiệu danh sách những người điều khiển hội thảo.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Trân trọng kính chào quý vị.
Yeah, Sandeep just said that I was a veteran of the denim industry, but actually most people just think I'm a veteran or maybe just old. But we'll get through this today. It should be fun for everybody. I'm going to introduce our panel members now, and once I introduce your name, just please come up and take a seat, okay? First we have Sarah Fessler. She's from G-Star Raw, and she's the Restricted Substance List and Environmental Specialist there.
Xin trân trọng giới thiệu bà Sarah Fessler, chuyên gia quản lý môi trường của G-Star.
And second we have Ms. Mayra Opiña. She is here today, and she is from Cytex. She's in the laundry division as the technical manager in the laundry division. And we apologize to say.
Xin giới thiệu bà Mayra, trưởng bộ phận kỹ thuật dịch tẩy của công ty Cytex International Việt Nam.
We apologize to say that Sanjeev Bal could not make it today. He had an unexpected situation that he was called away to, but he's left us in the good hands of Myra this afternoon. And finally, we have Mr. Christian Dreszig. Is that right, Christian?
Right.
All right. He's the head of marketing for Blue Sign Technologies out of Switzerland.
Trân trọng giới thiệu ông Christian Dreszig, giám đốc bộ phận marketing của tổ chức công nghệ Blue Sign.
So first we're going to hear from G-Star Raw and from Sarah Fessler. Sarah is responsible for consumer product compliance and for vendor performance with regards to environmental issues in the textile manufacturing processes. Additionally, she's worked in G-Star Raw's detox commitment, so you can ask her about what detox means to them later. And also she's a member of the Roadmap to Zero Discharge of Hazardous Chemicals, otherwise known as ZDHC. And she's previously worked for several years in hazard communication for large chemical companies in Germany, and she has over a decade of experience just an understanding of product safety and regulatory standards. So now I'm going to hand it over to Sarah to take us through your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bill. Just think I need a clicker. Okay, good. Works. All right. There we go. So thank you very much for being here today. Thank you for the invitation, Sandeep. My name is Sarah Fessler, and as already mentioned, I'm a restricted substance list and environmental specialist at G-Star. Today I'm going to talk about sustainability and the future is raw. And I want to leave you with a story today on how we realized to become one of the most sustainable denim brands. But before that, let me show you a couple of facts about the textile industry. It takes over 3,000 liters of water to make one pair of denim. That equals up into, 3,000 liters, it equals up to 50 showers. If we translate this into a production volume of about 5 million pairs a year, which is really not that much, it equals up in 250 million showers. And we in Amsterdam, the whole city can shower for a whole year for that amount of water. 6% of world's pesticides is used for cotton cultivation. And by washing jeans 10 times before washing, a consumer can actually reduce the environmental impact by more than 75%. Pollution, a recent study says that 50% of China's river are contaminated by effluent treatment. Not everything is caused by the textile industry here, but we do know that we play a major role in this. 5% of all waste is in landfills is textile, and last but not least, the garment sector in Bangladesh employs around 4 million people, which also leaves us with a responsibility on social aspects here. So G-Star Raw, G-Star, who are we? Some of you may know G-Star, some of you may not, so let me tell you a little bit about us. We are a Dutch-founded global denim brand, and when G-Star was founded about 25 years ago, it was all about the product. But we realized that if we want to sustain as a denim company, we need to look into sustainable solutions and be innovative. So my mission is to bring sustainability to the level of design and making people aware of the impact when they are creating a product. So part of our mission is, in fact, to create a denim for the future with care about people and the planet. So how do we work in corporate responsibility in G-Star? So the facts I was just explaining to you, we have set 4 pillars for that, and we work in these 4 pillars to address these problems. So responsible supply chain. 50% of our collection is made with suppliers we work more than 10 years with. That allows us to invest into social and environmental projects and into their and our future. Additionally, we made our manufacturing location transparent. So today, if you go on G-Star's web shop and you click on a product, you will be directed via a manufacturing map to the country and to the factory who produces your denim. Sustainable product, in this pillar, we have defined the characteristic of sustainable materials. We work with BCI cotton, organic cotton, recycled polyester, nettle, tencel, just to name a few. Sustainable operation. It is very important for us that our distribution centers are optimated and designed in a scalable way. Furthermore, we have replaced all of our plastic bag in stores by a FSC certified paper bag version, and we are now looking into the solution of replacing all of our poly bags in which products are shipped by a biodegradable solution. Community involvement. G-Star has established a GSRD foundation in which we support projects in the countries where we manufacture for scholarship and entrepreneurship for startups. So our mission is raw, sexy, and truly sustainable. We want to show that it can be cool to make a product which is sustainable, which looks good, and that this is the future. So what have we done? We committed to detox, as already mentioned, and for those of you who don't know so much about detox and what it stands for, it is actually the Big Green Peace campaign launched in 2011 when they published the first dirty laundry report in which Greenpeace unveiled the link between polluting facilities in China and named a couple of major brands. So G-Star committed in 2013 to detox, in which we say that we are going to eliminate the hazardous substances from all of our products and production processes by 2020. Another aggressive goal of ours is that we will be 100% sustainable in materials by 2020. And we are working with an independent organization called Made By to verify us in this project here. We joined the ZDHC Foundation, as it was already mentioned by Bill. This is the Zero Discharge of Hazardous Chemicals group. We are actively engaged here, working towards a cleaner supply chain and setting a new standard of environmental and chemical management. We work together with other major brands here. We are more than 22 signatory brands at the moment, and just to name a couple, H&M, Adidas, Nike, Levi's, and so on. We are very happy to be a bluesign system partner together with Cytex. We joined in March 2013 bluesign. We are the first denim brand, and we believe that with regards to a holistic management system for input stream chemistry, this is really the solution which is going to happen in the textile industry. Oops, excuse me. So what else are we working on? Naturally, we have introduced a restricted substance list and a very strong and profound RSL monitoring system. No garment leaves our factories before having an approved and passed test report. But nevertheless, we know that we are monitoring on this end, on the consumer side, which we fulfill our due diligence. But we also see the strong need that we look into the side of the input management. So we created in 2014 our first manufacturing restricted substance list, in which we define the banned chemicals and the limit values for the input chemistry in order to eliminate that from the beginning of our supply chain, meaning the dyeing processes, the washing and the printing and so on. Just last year, we introduced our first environmental guideline, so we saw the strong need that we need to combine that all as one nice little Bible. And so we put in all of our RSL procedures and policies, so as MRSL, but we have also added a section for chemical management. So we guide along our suppliers in what exactly is needed to set up a fundamental chemical management system in order to know how to handle and store chemicals and how to help them to find the right protection for workers, etc. Just lately, this was also updated and aligned with the latest wastewater guideline the ZEHC has published and is also linked to our document here. With our technical engineers, we closely work, and they are closely with our suppliers on the ground and work towards more sustainable solutions, which includes ozone bleaching, laser treatments, and so on. And we are also happy that since 4 years already, we are free in APO and phthalates for all of our garments and accessories. And in 2015, we could realize a complete phase-out of perfluorinated chemistry, which is used for water-repellent finishes, and replace this by a safer alternative. With these timelines here, we are also basically aligned with our commitment we have with Greenpeace. So to continue the success story of bluesign, we were able to partner up with the first denim mill in Turkey, Çelik, who has become a system partner of bluesign as well in 2015. And they also realized the first denim fabrics to be available on the market. And actually this is at the moment part of G-Star's collection and available online or in our stores. Together with Made By, we also work on a sustainable wet process, so we have mapped a large number of our denim fabrics and washes together with the denim facilities and capabilities of those in order to source the right and most sustainable product. So is sustainability a one-man show? No. As you can clearly see from my presentation, it needs a lot of parties involved in order to become more sustainable. We're pioneering in this, and we need you to pioneer along to go together this journey. So all the designers in the room, the manufacturers, the laundries, and nevertheless the chemical suppliers, we are all needed to move towards more sustainability. Remember, it takes 3,000 liters of water to make one pair of denim, and we produce textile in the driest places of the world. And we cannot continue like this if 2/3 of the world's population does not have access to clean water. So we need to drive our industry towards more sustainable solutions and processes in order to sustain. So we believe we are on the right path, and we see an industry transforming. And we are at the moment looking as well into options to replace potassium permanganate and work on a waterless denim process. We see the need of innovation and drive those processes and accelerate this. So I ask you all, let's do this together and create the future, building the new. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you. Thanks very much, Sarah. Thanks very much, Sarah. Yeah, those statistics at the beginning of the presentation are actually pretty alarming, being part of the textile industry. And it's not just one country. It's in many countries, and it's all around the world. But I think through G-Star Raw's work in the supply chain and using more sustainable products is a really responsible way to be acting as a brand now. And I also believe it's a bold move for a denim manufacturer, a denim brand, to sign up to something like Detox and be one of the first companies to sign up to Detox, be a member of ZDHC, and then have evidence that they're really willing to follow through on it by being a member of the Blue Sign certification. So well done, and just another round of applause for Sarah and G-Star Raw. Right, I'm going to introduce to you now Myra Opinia. We're going to show a short video first. Myra, wave to the crowd. All right, we'll show a short video, and then after that we will hear a few words from Myra. Okay, so let's take it away with the video now.
Perhaps one day we will live forever, like the immortal jellyfish, Turritopsis dohrnii. Perhaps one day we will fly on our own, or live on another planet, where no one knows what hunger is anymore. What we see today bothers us. Landfills, pollution, hunger and poverty. Yet there are some things that make us happy. Like when 1% of our revenue goes towards alleviating hunger, when we build an orphanage from revenue generated by converting our rejected genes into shoes, when we plant trees to provide oxygen and carbon neutralize, when we recycle our water, when we build homes for the homeless from bricks made with our non-hazardous sludge, when we aerial dry our jeans, when we recycle our heat and steam, when we use solar for power, when we build world-class facilities for our associates, and when we see our associates and robots working together as a team. And very soon we will see the day when we farm our organic cotton and go back to planting indigo, then weave this into biodegradable material with no influence of mordants, with biodegradable components that will eventually fertilize our Mother Earth.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Myra. I'm the laundry technical manager in charge of the development. So, as what you see on the video, Cytex is not an ordinary company. We are committed to sustainability. Cytex is a net positive impact company. Our decision making is evolving on 3 Ps: our people, the planet, and profit. We have gone beyond eco-efficiency and sustainability. Our aim is to build social, financial, and environmental positive impact. As you can see on the video earlier, on our environmental responsibility, the 8,000 tons of the carbon emission of our company has been neutralized and sequestered by the trees we planted on the 5 hectares of land nearby our company. We don't use fuel. We use biomass boiler to generate the steam. We conserve energy by aerial drying our jeans, thereby reducing 50% of the usage of steam for our dryer machine. We use solar power to heat up our water that we use on our bleaching, enzyme, and dyeing process. We use skylight for natural lighting on all our facilities. We recycle 99% of our water to our system, and the remaining 1% of the TDS water has been evaporated for a zero discharge wastewater. We invest on machines to create innovations on waterless process like lasers, e-flows, ozone, robots, and machines that have minimum liquor ratio like 1:3. Because in Cytex, we believe that if we reduce the steps of washing, we not only reduce the water usage, but also the use of chemicals on our jeans. As a social responsibility, we create jobs for unprivileged. The bricks that we get from our sludge, we build homes for the orphanage. And 1% of our revenue is directly going to the poverty and hunger alertness. Sustainability is not difficult to achieve if we believe that it's possible to make jeans with care to people and environment. In the beginning, you might think about the cost, but in the long run, it's the whole ecosystem that will benefit. Together, we commit to build and preserve the safety of our planet for the existing and future generation. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much, Myra. A brief but impactful presentation by Cytex on what they're doing to promote social, financial, and environmental positive impacts, is what I've heard. The things that I take away from that are carbon neutral, biomass in a country that is the second largest rice exporter in the world. People are still building coal boilers, amazingly enough. And when people use rice husks as biomass fuel, what happens is you use that. There are new boilers that actually are able to retain that heat. The ash that comes from the biomass boiler is actually transferred back to the farmers as fertilizer, so it's a closed loop here for those people that are doing it. So it's a really good thing that's happening here. The other thing is solar. It's a really sunny country, right? And solar is just now picking up and becoming a financial something that can be considered when we look at capital expenditures and how much time we need to pay something back, because that does matter to a company as well. But it is becoming a lot more financially viable right now. 99% water recycling, again, is something that's very good here in Vietnam, a country that if you were here yesterday, you would think we have a lot of water, because this is the time of the year that the water comes. But to be able to take a step to zero water discharge is good, is a really good, and it's a forward step. And finally, the last one is the bricks from sludge. Okay, wow, that's a new one that I'm going to have to take away. That's a very innovative thing. So thanks very much for that again. Thanks very, very much, and let's give her another round of applause. So we'll end the presentation portion with Christian. Christian is head of marketing at Blue Sign Technologies. You know them. They're a Swiss-based company that is trying to help everyone be more responsible in the world. Christian has a couple of decades of experience as project engineer, textile engineer all over the world, in Switzerland, in South Africa, in Germany, and he is now focusing on sustainability. He's been at Blue Sign for 10 years in marketing and communications area. And I'd like to hand it over to you now, Christian.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks for the kind introduction, Bill. Thank you, Sandeep, for inviting us, for having this panel discussion. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you hear the alarming signs all over the world, right? Our global warming, it's a problem. We have only one globe. We have to change things. We have to change our behaviors. And indeed, they are right, you know. Textile industry, it's often called the second largest polluting industry in the world. So, we have to screw something on our image. We have to prove that our industry is ahead and that we can change something. Now, how we do this change? And therefore we have to understand first, what does it mean to produce sustainable denims? Sustainability has to do, of course, with ecology. But it has to do also with social responsibility, with peoples, and with economy. In the ecology, we know all, we take care about the environment, water emission, air emission, soil contamination, climate change, CO2 footprint. But there's also a matter about chemical pollution to the environment. Social responsibility, we know all. That's about people, it's about wages, ages, working time, and so on. In general, we have to think about how we treat our stakeholders, how is our stakeholder relation, and how we satisfy them. And last but not least, we have to take care about economy. Why? We have to find a way how to finance social responsibility and how to finance environmental protection. And therefore we have to make profit to invest this money into improvements in the other two sections. Unfortunately, as you know, these sections are very contradicting, and you have to balance out this in a good way to be sustainable. Furthermore, we have to produce denims which are in compliance with local, national and international laws and regulations. And last but not least, we have to fulfill the needs from our consumers. And as you know, in the World Wide Web time, they are more and more informed and they are conscious how the products are produced. They are asking more and more about questions. How was the impact to environment? How were the workers treated in the plants who made the products? And we as an industry have to give an answer on this question. Now, we have heard good examples, so it seems it's possible to improve things, but what is the challenge? And what some companies do better than other companies? Now, the first challenge is in this denim industry, it's about fashion. Fashion creates a lot of problems. You have a lot of trends, a lot of effects, right? You're changing a lot. This is not easy for the industry to adapt very quickly and to produce still sustainable. These fashion items, they are all along effect. Especially in this industry, you see here the wall, it's all about effects. We are talking the whole day about effects. And these effects, they need what? Chemicals somehow. Yeah. Somehow you have to do the effects. Of course, there are some physical treatment as well, and coming more and more. But still, chemicals are needed. And if we treat our product with chemicals, and some of them are quite hazardous chemicals, we have to take care. So we have to have a responsible acting supply chain. Unfortunately, the supply chain, it's not that easy like here, a chemical supplier, a manufacturer, and a brand. So often, in the textile industry, a supply chain looks like this, right? So, and this is the real challenge. How to manage chemicals along this supply chain, having several tiers here in the chemical part, so with chemical production, having a lot of process step, managing a lot of chemical inputs, having converters, traders, sourcing companies between, and finally a brand who should give information to the final consumers about their products. Very often they have no idea how the product was really produced. I mean, no wonder if you see this supply chain. So that means in this supply chain we have a lack of information. This lack of information is due to the complexity of the supply chain as well as the understanding. You know, the chemical understanding from a chemical company to a manufacturer to a brand, it's on a completely different level. So how you communicate to each other when you are on a completely different level. So you have to find a way how to communicate and provide the real information which is needed then for the consumers. With this challenge of this complex supply chain, we see also that we get on limitation of these typical end sample testing methods, or physical control means by doing audits, going to the factory side for 1 day, every year, every 2 years, every 3 years, whatever. It limits and it actually not improve anything, right? We just try to keep a certain standard and maintain this standard, but it's not really improving the industry. And this is the reason why the industry is controlled and it's not self-acting. And here we have to make a change, coming away from this controlling to take over responsibility and act by ourselves, actually before somebody asks to do something and to force us to move. So that means in this supply chain we still have a risk, and risk can harm people, environment, and finally also your brand name. To improve now the situation, it's not enough just to manage the chemicals in a supply chain. If you want to improve the situation, we have to reach a chemicals change management. We have to phase out the hazardous substances. We have to change the processes and the way how we produce chemicals. And we have to change finally also our products we are selling to the consumer, that we really reduce the impact to environment. So how we manage now this impact in manufacturing sustainable denim? We have to change our thinking. I told, instead of controlling, producing an item, taking a sample, do some testing, we have to change completely this approach, because end sample testing, it's not really a solution for it, because we produce an item, take a sample, we do testing, and then we fail. So what you are doing, you can throw away the whole product, and this is worst case in sustainability, because you have used resources, chemicals, water, electricity, to produce an item, and then you can throw it away. So you have to make sure that you do it first right time, and to produce a product which is set to the standard right from the beginning. So therefore, in the blue sign, we changed our thinking, and we thought, instead of starting in the end, we start in the beginning. So we have to manage chemicals right from the beginning. We have to go to the chemical mills and look how they produce the chemicals, how they manage the restricted substance in their products. And we are not talking about cost numbers here and about things which are written in safety data sheets. We are speaking about byproduct impurities coming from raw material which are completely out of control if a chemical company has no idea what they are doing. So therefore we need first a responsible acting chemical industry. They provide goods to a manufacturing industry who's usually limited on chemical knowledge, who don't know exactly the risk from this chemical when they apply this to the textile. So therefore we have to make sure from the beginning that we phase out actually the bad chemicals. And we have to show what are the good chemicals, because just telling the industry what you can't do, it's not a solution. You have to tell what you can do. So we have to show the good chemicals and how you apply them in the right way. Finally, input stream management, it's one of the solutions where we start from the beginning, managing the chemicals and do a risk assessment of these chemicals so that we understand the risk. In the Blue Sign system, we have done this with an easy, understandable rating. We rate chemicals in blue, gray, black. So this is like a traffic light. Everybody in the world, okay, nearly everybody in the world understands a traffic light. Maybe in Ho Chi Minh City a bit different. But basically, you know, if you walk when it's red, you are dead, right? If you walk when it's green, you're more or less safe, right? And if it's orange, you watch left and right so that you are more or less safe to cross the street, right? And this system we use for our input stream management, that we say, if you have blue chemistry, you can apply them according to the force in application from the chemical suppliers, and you are quite safe. We have black chemistry, we know the risk is too high. However you try to manage them, you will have a too high risk to apply them, so we leave out them from the beginning. So unfortunately, our world, it's not only white and black, or our Blue Sign world, it's not only blue and black. So we have hazardous chemicals we need to reach these effects, to fulfill the requirements from our customers. So we cannot just rate all the chemicals black. Then we would have no jeans and denim fair. I would have nothing to wear here. This is not a solution, neither for the industry nor for the consumers. So therefore, we have defined a gray rating. That means gray, it's careful, critical chemicals. If you apply this kind of chemicals, you have to fulfill certain restrictions. And if you walk along with these restrictions, you are pretty safe. So finally, we get a quite sustainable produced product, which we can provide to the brands. And even if they have no idea about chemistry, they can understand the traffic light, and they see when a manufacturer has produced this with blue and gray chemicals, they are safe off to sell the product to the consumer. So in the end, we can say input stream management, it's like cooking. Who likes to cook? Everybody likes to eat, but nobody likes to cook, I know. So what a good cook is doing first? Right? What he's doing first? He needs ingredients to cook, right? So he's going early in the morning to the market, not to the supermarket. He goes to the fresh market because he wants to have the best ingredients, right? And what he's doing at the market? He's tasting, he's checking whether the things are good, right? So I could go behind a good cook early in the morning to the fresh market, buy the same ingredients, right? So I'm clever, right? Go back home and cook the meal, and it will taste terrible because I'm not the best cook. So you see that input stream management, it's not only about the best ingredients, you have to have the best application as well, right? And this is what we try to do here. We need the best ingredients, we need the best application. And now the famous thing on then, it's if you have a good cook with a star restaurant, for him it's important that the meal tastes every day the same, in the very high level. Why? If you go once to a restaurant, you taste the meal and it will not taste well, you will never go to this restaurant again. So for him it's very important. Now he could make a control, an output control. So he's tasting the meals he's preparing for the guests before they getting the meals. But if the meal will not taste well, he has used the resources, maybe he runs short of his ingredients, so he cannot prepare another meal again. And especially also the time, nobody is waiting 2 hours to get the dishes, right? So they run away. So for him it's very important that first, he make it right time first, and that it will taste always the same. And therefore, he understands that he needs the freshest ingredients, he needs knowledgeable cooks to prepare the meals, that he will satisfy his customer. So what we're doing in the textile industry, usually we are not following this principle. We have the cheapest inputs, right? We do the cheapest process, and in the end we have a product which is not satisfying our customers, right? So here we have to change, and we have to learn that we need the best ingredients. we have to have the best application to get the best products. And the very good thing is, once you have a fixed system, the ingredients are set, the applications are set, the output is always the same. You don't have to test anymore, right? That's the interesting thing. So, you see, that means in the beginning we need a chemical assessment. And important for a risk assessment of chemical is that we not just check the hazard of the chemicals, means how poison the chemicals are. It is also important how is the exposure, how workers are exposed, how the environment is exposed by these chemicals. So therefore, full risk assessment we just get by hazard and exposure conclusion. Then we have to check the application according to our input stream management so that the chemicals are applied in the right way. So we have to go on site and we have to educate people working with chemistry. We have to educate mills how to apply the chemical in the right way and support them by doing a good job. And last but not least, important to reduce impact, it's beside the chemical pollution reduction, we need also a reduction of resource consumption. The idea is actually that we, with less resources, produce more. So we gain resource productivity, and companies should consider a system to maintain resource productivity and to get an improvement every year. So finally, we come closer to a solution that we can manage now this very complex supply chain by a holistic, systemic, scientific approach, starting right from the beginning, going through the whole supply chain and providing brands a product where they can sell to the market. To manage this chemical, we need tools, and we have created here tools. As you know, latest standard, it's the World Wide Web, so we have created web-based tools which allows our chemical manufacturer to do risk assessment of their chemicals and get the rating. We have web-based tools for manufacture to access to the good chemistry. So we have a tool called Blue Finder. There are more than 20,000 chemical products assessed, and 8,500 products are in as blue or gray rated. So you can reach each color, all effects for all kind of fibers. And then we have a tool called Blue Guide. This is to provide responsible acting companies and their good products so that brands and sourcing company can source the right products from the beginning. In the end, we get a real chemicals management and not just controlling and trial and error. And this will gain transparency and trust within the industry, from seller and buyers, but also to the consumers. And finally, to reduce cost in communication, we have to have a sign for sustainable produced items. And therefore we have created an easy seal within B2B, business to business, so that you can have approved chemicals, approved components. And if a brand is now assembling a product out of Bluesign approved components, made with Bluesign approved chemicals, they will have a Bluesign product, which means a sustainable produced product. So it's in the end very simple. So, and from where you get this solution? Still, today, we don't have seen any other solution on the market which works with this input stream management approach. So Bluesign is still the only company providing this solution to the market. We are a rather small company based in Switzerland, acting globally now, and we are a solution provider, right? It's not about certification and something. It's about giving support to companies to implement this clever approach of input stream management and give tools at hand how companies and the supply chain can manage chemicals in the right way. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris, for that. You know, what I took away from that is that consumers have always been smart, but they haven't always had the voice that they have now with the internet and with social media. So there is a great voice, and we hear about the voice of the world every week when something goes viral, right? Whether it be a video, whether it be something that's very heartwarming or something that's very disturbing, people have a voice now. And I think that, you know, this is really, Blue Sign, you're helping to enable this proactive action instead of a reactive action. And what I get is it's a new approach from back-end testing to front-end action and responsibility from the people who should be responsible for it. So I think it's good. I think that I could see that may be a way that consumers have an even bigger voice in the future, because as people grow more concerned about our planet, they're going to be making choices, and Blue Sign is going to be able to give them a choice to help the planet or not. And so I think that those people that sign up with Blue Sign could be doing something that allows visibility for their end consumers to know that they're playing a part. So thanks, Chris, very much. Yep.
Thank you.
I think we need to move the chairs now for the panel discussion, if you don't mind.
We also have to move?
Okay. To get started, what do you think would be the biggest complaint that could be or would be leveled at the denim industry in terms of sustainability in the past? And Sarah, we'll start with you. How are you planning to address that? What is the biggest complaint that you've heard?
I think what you could see from my presentation, the 3,000 liters of water and the 2 to 3 kilograms of chemicals is really a big complaint. The water footprint is terrible. The chemical consumption is huge, and this is not how a denim can survive in the future. And I think this is really what the brands, together with their suppliers, have to address to make a change here.
Thanks. And Myra, what do you think?
Hello? I think just what she said, the denim industry, I think, is one of having the most, worst environmental and ethical footprint within fashion. So I think we, as a brand like GSAR, they should help us push the suppliers to become sustainable. That is why Cytex already made the steps towards sustainability. So we made just what I said in my speech earlier. So we make sure that the processes that we do is all are waterless. Of course, there will be some instances that the brand will be asking more vintage. So we make sure that our chemicals is within compliance.
Thank you. And Chris, what do you think is going to be the most challenging piece of the puzzle for the denim industry to overcome as a group?
I think the most challenging piece will be to create a new image. That's always a challenge. And therefore, we need action to really create a new image. And a big complaint could be also from the society that actually solutions are already available today. We don't have to wait for them. Actually, we have the knowledge to do it much better. And this was also the reason how we created Blue Sign. It's not that we are more clever than other people. We have learned. In Europe, we had textile industry and we have heavily polluted environment. So we have learned that and we get some pressure from government to do it better. So why not adapting this knowledge all over the globe and to create better products from the beginning? So here we have to give an answer really to the society why we don't do this now.
Great. Thank you. Just following up on your creating a new image. I think that communication regarding sustainability is often seen by consumers as maybe all talk with little or no action by industry, whatever the industry may be. What can this industry do to prove that they really do care? What can you practically do to change that image? And that's a question to all three of you.
I think consumer faces is done by the brand. And brand is dependent on factories or the manufacturers. So the issue these days is like very few suppliers or factories are believing on sustainability. So the consumers is thinking that sustainable is greenwashing. Perhaps if we will have partnership with Blue Sign, with the brand, with the factories, and with the mill, then we create a true sustainable product. Then maybe the consumer will believe and will patronize those kind of products.
So you think it's a brand, more of a brand-led exercise?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And how would you respond to that, Sarah?
I think she's right. It's the brand who needs to educate the consumer because we are on the front. So this is our responsibility, and we should be transparent so the consumer has a choice and be able to see what is behind the product. But I also think it is very, very important not just to talk, but to act, and really not wait. So all the facts we've seen today is not that we only talk. We don't have another 10 to 20 years before changing the way how we make denim. And sooner or later, in my opinion as well, it should be for a consumer given per se that the denim is made in a sustainable way. And we don't need to talk anymore. So sustainability needs to become mainstream.
In just in terms of transparency that she just mentioned, I guess that's where you would come in. Right, Chris?
Right, with transparency you will gain trust. If you're intransparent, they will not stopping to blaming about the responsibility of an industry. They will always think you will hide something, and therefore transparency is very important. And then action, it's of course very important, but also education of consumer, as Sarah mentioned, it's important because maybe some consumer don't know about how textiles are produced, so we have to educate them. And finally, a very important step is then we have to give a choice to consumer, right? We have to show them that this product is maybe better than other products, so that they have a choice. At the moment, they are buying product and have actually no idea what was the impact behind. So we have to show them clear what was the impact of a product and give them a choice to buy a better product.
That's very good. Okay, here's one. How do brands, this is to you, Sarah, okay? How do brands balance the real need to support and promote sustainability all the while with a constant push to get your products at a lower cost? How do you do that?
As I mentioned, we have a very long-term relationship with our suppliers, which allows to invest. We invest in projects together with them, which allows them to make investments into best available technologies and, join partnerships with Blue Sign or other social projects. And another thing is that I believe that if you need to consolidate your supply chain in a way. So we actually work with less than 30 suppliers. That gives us the opportunity to be really focused and to bring them up to speed, you know, to really have one-on-one discussions when we go there, and that helps.
That's very good. So I think at this time we want to open up questions to you, if you'd like to ask any of anyone on the panel. Do we have microphones out in the audience that we can give to people?
Dạ, bây giờ tất cả quý vị đang tham dự ở đây có câu hỏi nào với lại ban điều khiển thì vui lòng đặt câu hỏi.
Let me start with the first question. For a denim mill to be a part of the blue sign approved, what are the major changes do you think a denim mill has to really make in their regular operations in terms of input stream management? What are the changes basically a denim mill will have to undergo to be approved, blue sign approved?
I mean, for mill, the first step is really to give a commitment. They have to realize that they have to change something, give a commitment to change something. And then the second step is you have to analyze first where you are before you can do the next step. So I see sometimes company, they don't even have a water counter, so they don't know how much water they are consuming. What we speak about process optimization and reducing impact if they have not a clue what resources they are consuming, right? This is a starting point somehow at some companies.
Anyone else?
Hi guys, so I come from Melbourne, Australia, where we have a very small handful of denim manufacturers and wash houses in Melbourne. So I come from a very small business. We have ethical accreditation from ECA, Ethical Australia. You guys talk about sustainability, better supply chains, chemical management, but how does that translate to a small business where we want to keep everything onshore? I mean, money does factor in a lot for us as a small business, and you guys are huge. So how does that translate to a much smaller company of, like, say, 10 employees?
Well, I can maybe respond to that.
Yeah.
We may have a big name, but believe me, we are small. Our production is small, in fact. So this is a good example that it is possible, you know, to make this change happen.
But Blue Sign and all that are quite international brands, right? International companies. But because I'm in Melbourne, how are we able to have those resources for ourselves in Australia?
Actually, that's a good point. How we get this done also in small businesses. And if you would do this alone, I tell you it's impossible. You can stop now. Impossible. This was also considered when we set up this system. We created a shared solution, right? Each part in this industry gives some knowledge in this solution and give some inputs inside which can be used by all the system partners, right? And so we get a solution which is affordable for big business, but also small businesses. So sustainability, it's a team sport.
Can you describe an example of how that works, though? Like if a chemical is used and a test result occurs, that's broadcast as being a chemical that's good. I think that's important to know that everybody doesn't have to repeat over and over every test.
I mean, in the Blue Sign system, when we start with the chemical assessment costs some money, right? First of all, the chemical company has to know about the restricted substance used inside. So it considers a good input control and management of their raw materials. It considers testing during production and control. And finally, you have to have an independent third party who is assessing this. So it costs a lot of money. So all this knowledge is transferred in our system into the Blue Finder, so a web-based search engine for good chemistry, which you can, even as a small business, easily afford, right? So you get huge knowledge in a database for a very low price.
Does that help a little?
Little.
I think it's always a challenge going from very small and getting the critical mass to be able to do
Exactly,
what you
because
want.
we do manufacturing in Melbourne. So by talking about all this fabric testing and all your wash techniques, that means that I would have to bring all my before wash production and ship it over there just to get washed, just to get that tick of sustainability and approval, which is costly, and then having to ship it back to Melbourne to be finished. Yeah.
I don't think you need a certification to be sustainable. Like, it should not, even as what she said, Cytex also is not big. We only have it in Vietnam. We only have one laundry in Vietnam, and one finishing and one sewing. So before, when we started this with Blue Sign, we don't have also that much, production. So, but it comes from ourselves. It comes from the vision of our owner, that we don't want to make business only to make profit. We want to take care of our people. We want to take care of the environment. So one point of like avoiding the testing, when you purchase the chemicals from your chemical supplier, you should ask them some declaration form certifying that their chemicals don't have the restricted substances. That's one of the things. You don't need to test.
Yeah, and there are international restricted substance lists. There are too many restricted substance lists. There are with every company, with every industry, with everything. So you can find a restricted substance list that might work for you. And I think what Chris just said is you can start by measuring where you are yourself right now. You will know how much water you're using. You will know how much chemicals you're using, and you can plot that on day zero, and then you can try to work yourself, even as a small company, to reduce it by 5%, to reduce it by 10%, and have an impact, right? And I think sometimes it's just starting like that where you gain some confidence that you're doing the right thing.
And maybe a last comment on that. I know being small, it's not always a bad thing, right? I mean, we are working with the Uniqlo's Inditex and so, and I can tell you these are tankers in the sea, right? Until they turn a bit, it takes a long time. You are a speedboat against them, so you should use this. And we have examples. We come out from the outdoor sportswear industry. We had a small Swiss brand for snowboarding, right, called Zimtstern. There were two guys starting in a garage, no money in the pocket. They came to Blue Sign and asked how we can create sustainable products. We don't like to produce the same shit like all the others do. We would like to do the right thing from the beginning, but we have no money and have no knowledge how to do it. So we started with this small brand. Luckily, Zimtstern became one of the most famous snowboarding brands in the world, and this was the way how we started with them, right? So you see, it is possible. It just, you have to do it.
Okay, do we have any other questions? We can take one or two more. Anyone? Okay, if we don't have, then I do have one more. I guess this is for G-Star and Cytex again. The first step from zero that a brand does to implement a chemical management system, just that first practical action after deciding they want to do it, then what?
Well, there's the easiest step is, and everybody knows that, is with regards to the restricted substance list, which you control your end product. But as mentioned, that's important for your consumer safety, but that doesn't give you any confidence in terms of what is been put into your manufacturing process. So the input stream. So that's why a chemical management system is important, that my manufacturer understands the need of a worker safety, that he protects his worker right when using chemicals, that he knows how to store it, that he knows how to handle it, what he has to do in terms of leakage and spills, etc. That is a chemical management system. When he has this under control, I truly believe that the end side, the consumer safety side, or RSL side, is fully under control. And of course, with BlueSign, this is for us a system partner where we believe in this holistic system, and nevertheless, and at the end of the day, we are a denim fashion brand, and it is our responsibility and our job to make denim and a product, and to make a great and an iconic product in our way, and to have a partnership who helps us to bring the supply chain to a certain standard where we want to see them.
Thank you. I think that might be a good place to end the discussion then. It really is about partnership and collaboration across the supply chain, and a real commitment to doing something more, whether you are a big company and have the resources to sign up, or whether you're a small company where you just are going to want to start out doing it yourself. I think it really takes a commitment and an effort, but definitely asking your friends and collaborating among your suppliers and your customers is the best way to do it. So thanks very much for everybody, for all of you to listen to this panel discussion today, and thanks very much, Sandeep, for organizing this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, is this yours?
I think it was a great. I think it was a great panel discussion, and great inputs from Sarah, from Christian, Ms. Myra, and of course great moderation by Mr. Bill Watson. I think all of us have learned today a lot about sustainability, and the direction which the key people in the industry are taking, and these are good lessons for us to follow in whatever way we can. Our next session, once again, I think I would like to request a round of applause for all the participants and for all the panelists. Once more, please. Our next session was supposed to be that of Mr. Stefano Elgiri, who was coming from US, but unfortunately he missed his flight and is coming tonight. So we will have his session rescheduled for tomorrow evening 3 p.m. And please also join us for seminars tomorrow morning by Ms. Tillich and Mr. Watson once again at 10 and 10:30. And we hope to have you, all of you, to be with us. Thank you so much.